What's up, guys? It's another episode of Off the Post. I'm your host, DJ Redcap, and we are doing another spotlight. Yes, aren't you all excited for these spotlights? We've had some fun with a couple of them, with the Portland one and the Flash one, with the Flashers, with the cool shirt that I actually like. And I was disappointed I liked that shirt because I really wanted to tease somebody that day. And also Sky Blue and Cloud9, which they've really been tweeting out their episode, promoting it pretty well, so we appreciate that. But today is all Chicago Day, so we're doing everything Red Stars, 3 stars. So get ready for that. As you can see, we have a new panelist on for this one. Looks like it's another supporter, so we'll talk to her in a second. Let's go down and see what the panel's been up to. Papa Jake, Courtney, and let's see. Courtney, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I was gonna say a little bit tired, but I think probably getting more sleep than Jake might be. So I'm not gonna complain about it too much. I was back in Massachusetts for the weekend. I just drove back at like 5 a.m. this morning. So, but again, not gonna complain about it though, because I'm still probably got more than Jake. So things are good. We're gonna go with things are good.
All right, Papa Jake, what have you been up to?
Well, if people haven't heard, my wife had our baby last Wednesday. So I'll pull up a picture real quick.
Yay! No,
Yeah.
he has one ready.
Yeah, there she is. So yeah, 8 pounds, 7 ounces. She's doing great. We had our first pediatrician visit today. Everything's looking good. Her name's Lily Jane, and she does not sleep at night. So that first night home, we had her. She was up from like 1 a.m. till like 7, like just kind of screaming. But each night is progressively getting better. So hopefully by the end of the week, maybe she'll be sleeping at night and being more active during the day. But that's my.
We hope so for your sake.
Yeah.
You'll get some sleep soon. Don't worry about it. And now it's time to move on to the supporter. I'll let her introduce herself and tell what she likes to do. Maybe she likes to eat cake like I do, because I always love the person who likes cake. Maggie, introduce yourself a little bit.
I mean, yeah, I do like cake.
There you go.
My name is Maggie Zubek. I am an organizer with Chicago Local 134, which is the Chicago Red Stars supporters group.
Nice. And like I said, we're glad to have all these supporters on. I actually got to go to a Chicago game last year. It was really fun. It was enjoyable for me. I mean, it was the first time I was even in that area, so that was real cool to see their area, see their supporters. That was the one thing I was paying attention to. I always do that when I go to games. I'll be looking at the supporters a lot of the times, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying attention to the game, and I hope they don't wonder who's this guy just constantly staring at them, like, to see what, how good this. I'm rating a supporter group, and I was like, all right, they got this stuff. They're good. So you get good down there. So it's fun watching you guys.
Good to hear. Yeah. No, we're used to getting some stares from the stands.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, let's like I said, if you guys have anything you want to say to us now or even later, and we'll bring it up in later episodes, use the hashtag WoSoTalk. Or if you'd like to know my address to send me cool money and prizes, then you can use the hashtag DJ Redcap, as always.
As always, when have we used the hashtag DJ Redcap before?
Well, no one's used it, and I've been trying to promote it for goofy stuff, and no one's been using
the
it.
hashtag DJ Redcap as always, like or never.
Please ignore her. Send me stuff. There we go. All right, guys.
You can send him stuff, but let's not make DJ Redcap a thing. He doesn't need his ego to be like boosted as like a trending or anything like that. He doesn't need to have his own hashtag.
All right, we're gonna jump right into it. Always to know a little bit more about the supporter group. God, Courtney. So we're gonna talk about the supporter group. Like, what are some things you guys do before games and after games, and what makes your supporter group different from any other supporter group in the NWSL?
Yeah. Well, let's see. The Chicago. I actually. The Chicago Local 134 has a long history. The same supporters group existed in the WPS, run by different people, but we're proud. We kept the name when we took over the group, and we're proud of that history. And we're excited to be returning to Toyota Park this year. We have been playing at Benedictine University in Lisle, so a lot of the things that we've done the past 2 years are kind of going to have to be mixed up this year to accommodate the new location. But we like to tailgate, we like to drum, we like to chant. We like puns. That might be one of our trademark moves. Like a good pun chant. So we've lost a few of our punniest players this year. So we're kind of bummed about that. But we've got some new ideas in the works.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll definitely look out for that then. And it's a shame that you lost some of your punniest players because we always know, like, we all love a good pun here and there. So good.
Yeah.
I guess that is unique to you guys. 'Cause no supported group has came on and said that they are big with the pun. So, all right, that's really cool. Yeah, and I remember like seeing you guys. I thought you were good with the chants and stuff. I was like writing in my little book like very good. They passed these tests. So yeah, it was a good job with you guys. All right,
Yeah.
so let's get into the part that we're good at, and that's breaking down teams and just like things about the team. Well, we'll start with you, Courtney. How did this team perform last year, from what you remember from seeing them?
I think that I remember at the beginning of the season they had quite the undefeated streak going, which, not to bring up sore things, but I believe was broken at the Western New York Flash, potentially. Sorry, I just had I'm just recalling my memory from.
It's fine.
Recalling that they still did way better than the Flash did, like,
right.
Period. So
Yeah.
ultimately,
No,
like,
it's not that far.
but that was actually quite a proud moment. But no, they were. I think for me, I don't know. I don't want to say inconsistent because they weren't really inconsistent, but like they had this whole streak of like when they performed really well and were undefeated and were just so dominant, and then like, there was kind of a bit of a time where like it trailed off, and I don't know if that was due to like. They had quite a few World Cup players gone, and I know that we took a break, but there was time that those players were still gone and not with the teams, and so I don't know. Obviously that was a contributing factor, but there was some time where there was kind of a bit of a slump, and then ultimately like they did make the playoffs, right? Did they make the playoffs, right?
No, yeah, they definitely did.
And they lost to
we lost catastrophically.
Yes, I wasn't gonna say that, but they made the playoffs, and obviously that didn't go very well for them. But I think that still they had a great, after kind of the season before, they had a bit of a rough, go of it. So I think they were much improved this year, or this past year, since we're talking about prior years, but. Overall, obviously they made the playoffs, so I think that's better than obviously that's only 4 teams make the playoffs. So, despite their inconsistencies at times, they were able to pull together and get to where they needed to get in order to do that. Unfortunate, kind of that they fell apart during the playoffs, but overall, they had a really strong season.
Yep. All right, let me jump to you, Maggie. So, what are some of the, I guess we could say, some of the new players that you're looking forward to this year?
Yeah. Well, obviously our biggest signing is Nair.
Right.
That's exciting. Apologies to Boston. I know that's a sore spot.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry, Thrace. But yeah, we're really excited to have Nair on board. I'm excited to see how that pans out. We've had some great keepers in the history of the club in the NWSL. But I'm excited to see, how the defense develops around her. So I'm excited for Nair. I'm also excited for some of our draftees. That's always a big part of the Chicago Red Stars lineup. Rory James is really good at drafting. Our organization has historically done well in the draft, and those players have become really key players on our lineup. So I'm really excited about Naughton. We'll see about some of the other players who else is gonna step up. Yeah.
No, that's the truth though. Like, he's been amazing with the draft, man. He just feels his needs and what he wants to play with, and it's just like he throws them right out there, and they work perfectly with his team. So that's why I'm really excited to see how the rookies play out with Chicago.
Yeah.
Jake, anyone you're all looking forward to, signings, rookies, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, Nair is obviously the one that sticks out, and she's also huge because she is going to be corralling a new back line They've lost Taryn Hemmings. She was taken by Orlando and eventually retired. And to fill her spot, I think they drafted in. They got Casey Short from Norway, and she's a local product. And I think that she will be a big piece for that defense and making sure they provide width for the attack. I know she and Hemmings and Gilliland were really bombing forward aggressively when their attack was going well. So they really need somebody to step in and fill Hemmings' shoes. And then they lost Abby Erstig to Western New York, and they also lost Michelle Lomnicki as well. So a lot of hits to that back line. We'll see if some of the rookies can step up, maybe Katie Naughton, who has some experience with the under-23 national team this offseason. So those are the ones I'm really looking at. Draft picks, Courtney Routzman, I think is her name. She's from Kentucky, and that's where Aaron Gilliland came from. So it'd be interesting to see if she could transition to the pro game as well, as Gilliland did last year. And one last name, she might not have a direct impact on the starting lineup, but Mary Luba. She came in with she played 2015 with their reserve squad in WPSL, and they won the league. And she actually was signed like the last game of the season or something like that. So she's on the roster. It'd be great if the Red Star reserves could be like a Los Dos in MLS. Really being a developmental tool to getting players to fit the system and then promoting them to the first team. So, I think that's a really great stability piece that they could use going forward. So, yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I think that's the big one is Nair for me too. I mean, come on, you had a national teamer to your team like that to be your goalkeeper. That's going to be huge for them and for an already good team. So, and like I said, they've had their losses here and there, but Nair, I liked her in Boston. Some games she took a lot of shots, so maybe it would be a lot less the load you have to carry on her back now. So that's a great pickup, and it would be good to see how she goes along with them this year. All right, some players to look out for this year. We will start with you, first player. Who do you expect to have a big season for Chicago this year?
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to Meg. Ooh, Courtney seems. Ooh.
I just couldn't hear. I just can't. You cut out every time you go to say a name. Sometimes you just cut out, and no one knew who you were talking to. We're all just sitting here like staring at you, like what? I'm just trying to find out who you were trying to talk to.
I was talking to Meg. I was asking her who she expecting to have a big season this year, a big impact.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm really excited to see how our rookies from last year continue to develop. Colaprico, Gilliland. Yeah. I'm curious to see what happens with Huerta. How she had some big games for us last year. I'd like to see her continue to develop. And really, as far as sort of leadership on the team, we've lost a lot of big, players who have been with the club for a while. Lori Klepny is obviously the biggest deficit in that department. So players like Jen Hoy, Vanessa DiBernardo, who've been with the club for a while, and then national team players like JJ and Press, it'll be interesting to see how they step up in sort of a leadership capacity.
Right. Let's go with Courtney. Who do you expect to have a big impact this year?
Well, I don't really know about big. I'm going to kind of cheat the question a little bit. I don't really actually know about big. Well, she might have a big impact. I guess we'll have to see. I don't know if they've announced any cuts yet. I haven't really been paying attention to their due tomorrow, but I guess we'll find out. I just want to know, they have one of the larger preseason rosters. Yeah. Chicago, they have to cut down to 25 tomorrow. But I noticed that, at least on the initial roster, that Zakiya Bywaters was still around, and I'm interested. She's been very injury-ridden. Though I don't think she played at all last season. She had kind of a nagging injury, I believe, happened this season prior. And she was, I believe, 2013 #1 draft pick or something like that. But unfortunately, we haven't really seen a lot of her. Like I said, I don't think we saw her at all for Chicago. I'd be interested to see that if she is healthy, if she is gonna remain on the roster, and if so, like what kind of impact she would have. Just because, watch, I'm gonna say this I'm gonna say this today, and then tomorrow they'll be like, and she's cut, and I'll be like, oh great, well, or like they released her or something like that. But yeah, I would be interested to see if she's healthy. What kind of contribution she could have, especially now with you do have Huerta, you have Kristen Press, Jen Hoy still. So that's really kind of what I'm interested in seeing. Admittedly haven't really been paying attention to the Chicago Red Star, like the videos and like pictures they've been putting out. So I don't know if she is healthy, if she has been training and things like that. But if so, that'd be interesting. I think, it's going back to Kristen Press. I think that I don't know. I was like watching her play, and I feel like she doesn't get. I don't know. I feel like she's kind of not really, like, the national team hasn't really done her. She's had success in the national team, but hasn't really done her much justice because she's not playing, or once they put her in, she's playing in like a weird kind of area on the field, and it's like, well, but I think she's obviously an incredible player, so I'd like to see also what her impact of the season as well. But really just kind of want to see what the situation with Sakia Bywater is, because she is an incredible player. She's just unfortunate she's been injured. And I don't know. I guess we'll see kind of what happens if she ends up playing this year or not. But that's kind of someone I'm curious about for now.
And Jake.
Well, to start with, I really like Julie Johnston back there. I love her play for the national team in Chicago. Initiating the attack from out of the back. I love that type of player. But I also think that Danny Colafrico is going to have to continue to be a big component in that midfield. Circulating possession from side to side, connecting players across the field. She really fits that number 5 holding spot at the bottom of that diamond. And that diamond midfield has been kind of their identity last year, and that really took hold. And it'll be interesting. Now with Huerta and Hoy and Press all competing for those 2 spots up top, maybe if I was Rory Dames, maybe I'd consider tweaking it a little bit, making it more of a 4-3-1-2 with Press just underneath Huerta and Hoy. Have the strikers run the channels and have Kristen Press kind of play that number 10 role underneath, who really bombs forward into that space vacated by forwards going into that channel. So, it'd be great if all 3 could be on the field at the same time, because they're, all of them were scoring goals last year and
right.
Assists, but it's difficult when, it's difficult when you don't quite have the right pieces in place. It seems that Rory Dames is really sticking with that 4-4-2 diamond midfield, with the addition of DaCosta maybe taking Kolupny's place, but we'll have to see. So yeah, roundabout answer was Colafrico. Sorry to ramble on there, but
no, that's good. The thing is, though, it's like, yeah, like you said, it's one of those weird problems to have, but it's a good problem to have, where you have strikers, and they all were, like I said, firing at some point in time, and it's just a matter of how do you try to get all these players on the field at one time. And sometimes you can't, so someone's going to end up having to be a super sub or something like that, and that's not a bad problem to have at all, because you might want to run somebody out there and tell them to just go for it in a good 67 minutes and then bring someone else that could bring another change of pace or speed out on the team. For me, what I'm actually looking for is Erin Gilliland. I thought she was pretty good last year, and I enjoyed watching her a ton or whatever. Like, sometimes I feel like defenders, a lot of times, some people just don't pay them that much attention because the attackers get all the credit for scoring all the goals and stuff. You know how it is, Jake. The attackers get all the credit. So, like, a player like her, I felt like sometimes was under the radar when all those players were like firing nonstop. And I think she's, like I said, that's a player that, to me, man, might even have if you look at a national team potential, she really continues to step up and improve her game. I think she's really good. And just like I said, you know how they are with defenders, man. And DiBernardo, I feel like she can take the next step too. That's another good player. Like, it's weird. They have these players that are just, to me, they're so good, and just I feel like some people like them, some people don't. The people that, like, the Chicago fans that watch understand how good their players are and how so it's like they really understand these players, but other teams and stuff will just ignore them, and I'm like, look at this player, and they're like, oh yeah, I never really paid attention. I'm like, this is a good player. These players have some talent that, like I call it a call-up talent, where they could get called up for a few friendlies here or there, at least to get a shot or look at. They're right at that level, that good, and if she takes that next step, then she's going to be right there pushing too. So those are the two I'm really looking for, and I just want to see them take that next step where they look like, if they do, then this will really make this team a championship type team for sure, in my opinion, just because they already got a lot of other good pieces too, and I mean, so they'll just make the team even better. But actually, we're getting to the point now where we're going to talk about where do we expect this team to end up or perform this season. We will start with you first, Courtney. Where do you see Chicago going?
Oh, that's well, I'm not really sure. I'm trying to think. Sorry, I was listening. I was trying to do some Bywater's research. I was doing some Twitter, social media, Googling, but it doesn't. I don't know. It's hard to tell if she's actually in camp or not. But I'm not going to be a creeper and investigate that further. But anyways, I was just looking at some of the pictures that the Red Stars posted, trying to pick out people. But as far as where I think they're going to place, I think that's probably one of the tougher ones, I think, to guess at the moment. At least for me personally. They do have a lot of solid, talented players returning. They did lose quite a few, but I think a lot of the I think, like Maggie said, the rookies from last year are going to step up and really bring their A game this season. And I think that a lot of the people, again, we'll have to see who ends up making the final roster. They have quite a few cuts to make, but a lot of the people who are even just in camp now are. I don't think anyone mentioned her unless when I was looking at pictures, and I apologize. But I don't know if anyone mentioned that they have Amanda DaCosta now too, who is. Again, I'm just backtracking a little bit, but she may be a bit of a difference maker, I think, also. I think everyone was kind of surprised. I don't know if she just didn't fit into the Spirit system, but I think a lot of us were surprised to see her. I'm going to answer the question, I promise. I think a lot of us were surprised to see her sit, not be in the starting lineup very often or get such little time in at the Spirit. So I don't know, considering how just amazing she was in Liverpool. So I think the kind of action that I think the midfield's going to play a big part. I think if you get Colaprico, DaCosta, DiBernardo, and then whoever out there at the same time, I think that they have the potential to work really well together. I think just with so many new people, though, I think it's just really hard to guess. I'm gonna say, I hate that you make us do this, because I'm gonna end up putting 5 teams in 5th place, and then that's so stupid. I'm gonna say maybe that I think they'll make the playoffs again. I'll put them in 4.
All right.
I think there's a lot of question marks there, but I think a lot of what is still good about that team, especially with Nair now. Not any disrespect to goalkeepers past, LeBlanc or Dalton or anyone, but no disrespect to that. But I think that having Nair in there is going to help also. So a lot of question marks, but I think they still have a very solid group of players in there. So I'll say 4th.
All right. Sounds good. Jake?
I'm actually a little different from Courtney. I actually think they'll be fairly comfortable making the playoffs again.
Yeah.
I think the key word is consistency, and they have so many returning players that fit their system that Rory Dames have implemented last year and the year before, and I think that they're just a team that's very settled and have an identity and really will push forward. That last half of the 2015 season really killed them. Going in, I mean, their first place at halfway point. They had as many losses as Chicago or as Seattle, but they just drew too many games. So if they could just turn those draws into wins, they could be regular season contenders. So I personally think they're a top 2 team, along with Seattle again. So 1 or 2, I think is where I see them, and hopefully I think they could push push a spot in the championship game in the playoffs.
Mm.
Not, having gone through the process of last season, having that kind of taken away from them in that fashion, I think they'll be more mentally prepared for it and will be more settled and ready to go in the knockout round. So
You've just made many friends in Chicago, my friend. And Maggie, where do you see this team going?
I mean, they're gonna win. They're gonna win it all. I don't know what you want me to say.
You had no other options, right?
I do feel really good. I feel really good about this season. Rory Deans is a developer. He's tinkered with his lineup. He's sort of built this team over many years. We always talk about it as if there's just 3 years. So Chicago does have kind of this identity as not one of the teams that seems like a contender from, in a sort of macro sense, but yeah, I think that we're hungry for it after last year's defeat in the playoffs. So yeah, we're gonna win. It's gonna be Chicago all the way. Put my money where my mouth is.
Every supporter gets on and says we're gonna win no matter what. But this is like one where you can actually you can believe it with this team though. You can actually believe with this team. For me, I read it out of my notes. My notes say first or second, playoffs a lock. It's going for a championship this season. That's it. I mean, this team is ready to go for it, I think, man. They were so fun to watch last year to me, and they were such a good team. I feel like this team is easily a lock for the playoffs, top 1 or 2. They might even slip to 3 and pull a KC and get bored with the season, probably get a bunch of draws in there and still go on, and they're going to be in that championship game. So, but I'll tell you in the season preview who's going to win the championship. So I can't say if they're going to win it or not, but they'll definitely be there. So Jake actually said everything I said, so I didn't have much to say, but that was good. So now we got to thank her for coming on all that good stuff and smile and all those things and do the wave.
Can I ask you a question? Wait.
Yeah.
Can I ask Maggie a question? Where can fans find the supporters group, like at tailgates and stuff at the stadium? Like what section should they be looking for to fit with the group if they're looking to join?
Totally. So if you're wanting to find us online, all of our handles on all social media are Chicago Local 134. So yeah, if you're looking to get in touch, tweet at us, Facebook us. We can help you, hook up with us. But we will be tailgating in the, I don't know how else to describe it besides the tailgate lot, but it'll be clear. It'll be clear where we are. We'll be tailgating before every game. We're in the gravel lot at Toyota Park. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a transition to the new stadium, but we'll be in the gravel lot, and then in the stadium we are in section 118, the Harlem end, which is where section 8 sits for the Fire games. So goal side, it's the best spot acoustically in the stadium. So yeah, and anyone's welcome to be a member. Membership is $20, includes a T-shirt, and season tickets for supporters are really cheap. So get on that.
All right, yeah, real good question. Thanks a lot for that. So I'm definitely going to be.
Oh, sorry.
No, go on. I was just about to start talking about going to a game and stuff.
I was gonna say I was just gonna say that I've been to. If you haven't been to Toyota Park, I shot. I photographed World Cup qualifiers there a couple years ago now. Really cool, really neat place. It was kind of cool. I never been to Benedictine. I don't know if it's like more out of the way, if it's like easier to access than Benedictine. I don't really know. Maybe Maggie can let us know that. But
it's a little easier, yeah.
I do feel like it's near like Midway Airport though. Because you remember seeing the airport, like, oh look, there's an airport, relatively close. But it's to just wrap it up. It's a very nice. It was really nice, like little stadium. I like the atmosphere, even like during the national team games, and it's just really cool. So it's nice that I know a lot of people like had issues with like the surface and the turf and like the smallness of Benedictine, which thank you Benedictine though for like having like NWSL games there. I'm not trying to like crap on any kind of stadium, but I think it'll just be amazing to just have another NWSL team in like a legitimate stadium again.
Right.
So and it's like I said, it's a great stadium. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get out there for a game sometime also.
Yeah, we're really pumped to have the team on grass. That's a big upgrade.
That'll be one of, again, in the minority. But I think right now Washington, Sky Blue, and now Chicago will play on grass. Those might be the only three I think that play on grass. Because I think it was two. I think it was just the Spirit and Sky Blue. So yeah, anytime we can get people on grass too is fantastic. So that's yay. That's awesome for you guys as like the supporters group and the team. Obviously, getting to play in a professional venue.
Yeah.
Alrighty, cool stuff. Yeah, for that scarf contest, check our Twitter or our Facebook, because that means you get something free if you enter the scarf contest. I'll say that, you can do the rest of the footwork. I'm done with that. So I save money.
Has anybody entered the contest yet?
No. So my bank account will be looking good at the start of the season. So thank you.
People, listen to this. There's free things. There's free NWSL merchandise. I see you out there. We have people who actually do watch the show. We get people who retweet and like us on Facebook and follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. We've been posting this contest. Like, I'm not going to say begging because I am above begging, but strong encouragement. Like, come on. This guy over here is saying, I will purchase you whatever, a scarf of your team's choosing if you win the competition. Mm-hmm. It can't be a competition if it should at least be competitive. Come on, Well,
I remember last year I gave the shirt or whatever, and it was competitive. So people wanted shirts more than scarves, I guess. So that's my mistake. I'll change it to a shirt.
Just imagine, or a shirt. I mean, shirt. Can they pick shirt or scarf?
Yeah, whatever they want. We'll change it now since no one's entering. We'll make it whatever you want. McDonald's.
Listen, people. Wouldn't it be nice? Imagine going to your favorite team game, or if you're too far away, sitting at home on YouTube watching, or hopefully on TV if they somehow manage to halfway through the season get another weird TV deal, which, NWSL, let's go. Imagine sitting at home in your nice, insert favorite team here, T-shirt, or wearing your scarf, holding it up at the games, woot woot. Come on, people. Show us some sort of, pride, swag, anything that shows us that you support NWSL and your favorite team. Dress up, hang your whatever, take a picture, send it to us. We have multiple entries, we'll vote. This is free stuff. This man is gonna buy you a T-shirt or a scarf.
If they don't, I'm gonna go eat some Taco Bell with the money. So I don't care. I mean, it's my money.
Listen, people, he's gonna spend the money. He's gonna spend the money regardless. At least let him spend it on you in a nice, insert favorite team here T-shirt or scarf. That's all I'm gonna say. But enter the contest, people.
Thank you, Courtney. Though that was
maybe
good.
Maybe when it gets closer to the season and people actually start going to games and are busting out. Maybe their gear isn't been busted out yet for the season. Maybe it's just sitting in the closet it's not time for the season yet, so I haven't whipped my stuff out yet. But maybe once it gets closer to game time, people are getting ready to go, and I'm gonna call people out. Even people, I'm not gonna call specific teams out, but people, I have seen pictures of fans at preseason games in their gear. So I know some of you have busted it out already, but send us a picture. Free stuff.
We have not busting out stuff yet.
And we thought the rant section was done. Well.
There wasn't a rant. I'm trying to promote your contest.
I've given up. I'm about to give up. That was good, Courtney, though. It should get somebody, but I've given up. What were you saying, Maggie? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Speaking of not busting out stuff yet, I thought that Off the Post viewers would get a kick out of my roommate and I are
plant stand.
Yeah. So my room
that's
and I
sweet.
are both local 134 members, so everything that we have is in our is somewhere in our apartment. And so our side table here, stack of drums.
Oh,
So
that's sweet.
in about a week, it's gonna be they're gonna be drums again. The table will be
Nice.
transformed back into drums. So it's here.
Like
It's
I know,
happening.
like I noticed the star behind you.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a nice little setup. How she has that. All right, cool. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, that's good. See, people already got their team spirit going. Like I said, just brush off your stuff and send a picture of it. Even who cares what you say? Paint something, draw something.
This is gonna be a thing. Let's just a brief side note. For if I have something at work that I need people to do, like my staff to do, it's on our little staff meeting agenda every single week until it's done. I will bring this up every single week I'm on this show. I'm on a lot of episodes coming up, like a lot.
Mhm.
I'll bring this up every episode until people start sending in your gear. So if you don't want to listen to me talk about busting out your swag and taking a picture for us, just do it, please. Otherwise, I could do this all day, and I will. So every show. You listen to this lovely face talk about swag and contests.
All right.
Hey, sorry, I thought of one last question.
Okay.
Maggie, is it true the supporter group does they have like a star of the match type thing they give out to players at the end?
Scar.
Is that a thing?
No, well, we do. Chicago Look 134 does a Star of the Match award. So we hand out stars.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be switching that up a little bit this year. We used to do 4. This year we're going to do 2. And they're going to be kind of more substantial awards. They were like paper stars last year. We're going to class them up a little bit this year. So, yeah. But we do have merch. We're having our T-shirt design this year was just finalized a few weeks ago. And, yeah, it looks pretty good. So, yeah.
All right, cool. I'm about to wrap it up now. Thank you, Maggie, for coming on. We appreciate it. Listen to Courtney, people. We appreciate her actually trying to pep you guys up. Yeah, that was awesome talking to you about Chicago and stuff because, like I said, it's a team that we expect to do so good, and just hearing all the stuff from a supporter about what you guys do is always fun. So we appreciate you. You're welcome anytime to come on a little off the post. We're a little show. I guess we got to teach her how we go out. So Jake, we'll let Papa Jake do the honors.
Oh, sorry, I jumped the gun. Go ahead, Jake. I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm ready, and then we're gonna go ahead.
You got to wave to leave this show. So there you go. You get your hand. There she is. A wave. Yep.
I literally sat on my hand so I would stop waving.
See you guys. Bye-bye.